is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 5th of September, a day I will remember. In the year of our Lord 2024, Season 15, Episode 8, 677 times. You have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, pro wrestling. We do it all. And we're back. We're kind of sort of back to abnormal this week. Welcome. My name is Rob. I'm the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast. And in 40 minutes, all is right in the world. Alex out on assignment. He is in Vegas this week. He might be back next week. He's 50-50. We don't know. But that doesn't mean I'm alone, because not only do we have Don back, but we have a very special guest. So that way is the official fact checker of Sooner or Gator Productions, and a man whose opinions on a film released today differ from mine a little bit. You may know him as Ig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
They didn't differ. It'd be boring.
That's true.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the screen, a special guest.
This is video today.
Do what?
We're not in studio.
We are not.
Thank God.
That does not mean that we won't be soon.
I know, but I'm just saying, you wouldn't want me to.
Well, that's why you get like a gym membership, Don. For those, actually, that wouldn't help you in your area. But for those of you that don't know, Don lives in a city that they have no water right now.
Yeah,
he doesn't have water in 2 days.
But the local Y, where they do have water and stuff down the road, they do offer showers and stuff. Okay. So it was kind of So it was kind of cool.
All right. At the bottom of your screen is our very, very special guest, and a man who believes in Joe Hendry. He is
no yeet. No yeet on that one.
Welcome, brother. How are you?
Hey, man, I am glad to be here. What's going on, folks? I'm back. It's your main man, LA Runs Dallas, CEO of MMTG Clothing, as you see. And I don't understand the Joe Hendry thing. I just don't get it.
Are you going to wave?
Oh, and hey, Don. Yeah.
No, the wave to Joe Henry. The Joe Henry.
No, we don't believe.
Okay.
But I can do this for all ego Ethan Page.
He is a champion.
He is.
I'm communicating with some of our new partners. Just trying to. We're testing out a new stream tonight as we are getting closer and closer to officially being a part of the Sunset Lounge DFW family. We're going to be telling you all about that in the weeks to come. We really want you to be on this journey with us, so stay by the channel. We're so excited to be joining this network of podcasts that's growing exponentially. We're Sunset Lounge DFW. Look them up on your social medias. We're going to have everything available for you in the coming weeks. It's just awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so stoked for this. Also, want to remind everybody, next weekend is the It Came From Texas Film Festival, run by our friend Kelly Kitchens. Make sure you get your tickets. It's in Garland. And like we talked about last week, Garland, the hat capital of Texas.
Of course, we love Kelly Kitchens.
We do. Kelly Kitchens is one of our favorite humans.
Yes, she is.
So we're going to look into that for her. Unfortunately, I will be out of pocket, so we are not going to be covering it with the podcast, but we wish all the best. Don's going to be there. Our friends from the Mocky Horror Picture Show are going to be there closing out the festival. I've seen the trailer for the movie they're doing, and oh, good Lord, get ready. It's called Rocket Baby Rocket. That's what you need to know. And it was filmed
Rocket Baby Rocket.
And it features the president of the Elvis Presley fan club.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, they're going to have a field day with this movie. And I don't want to spoil anything. You really need the Mocky Horror Picture Show. They're great. They're very funny. They do kind of the MST3K kind of a thing during a film, but there's props and everything involved. Friend of the show, Danny Gallagher, is part of that troupe, and I got to see him a couple of weeks ago, and I want to wish them all the best next weekend, and we'll remind you again on next week's show. This week,
will there be peanut butter and banana sandwiches on site?
Only if they're fried.
Okay.
This was the season finale of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Why am I not? I'm not even on the right Something's going on with my computer today, so let me get the correct run sheet up because I'm like, why is that got last week's notes? Because it was last week's sheet.
We'll give Fluffer for now. So
I was
starting the NFL season, folks.
Well, I was kind of surprised watching Hard Knocks that they dedicated, and maybe I just don't remember, but them dedicating an entire episode to get down to the 53-man roster. Didn't they just kind of mingle that in with the last episode before?
Yeah, I think so.
If you're a player, whether you made the team or you didn't make the team or you play for another team, is this an episode you watch?
I mean, if you're a fan of the show, I think that, they have a fan base. They got a demo. And so
if you're a player, you skip this episode just because you don't want it? Because it hurts me to watch them, like seeing their general manager have to leave the room because he had to compose himself.
Yeah.
They had to cut somebody. It just, man, it's hard for me to watch as a fan. I can't imagine what it's like to try to watch this as a player.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I want to say that they would still view it to just kind of give it some nostalgia, get those feels again. And, I feel like as the player, maybe the one even being cut, that would drive you as motivation for whatever team you're going to go through from there.
And I'm trying to look this up right now, but I'm really excited. We talked about this quite a bit. Really? Oh, I'm very upset right now. As you know, your in-season Hard Knocks is the actual entire AFC North.
Yeah.
It's not premiering until December 3rd.
Oh, wow.
That's past midseason. You think midseason would be...
That's about when they did it for Miami, maybe a week later. Okay. But you would think if they're doing the entire division, you could start next week.
Yeah, because that's going to be a huge dogfight time period for all those teams. Like all the games in December are extremely important for playoff positioning.
But unfortunately, this is coming from BaltimoreRavens.com as they are part of that division. They're not going to start showing episodes till December. I want it now. I want to watch the whole season like Amazon did when they had a thing called The Season.
Yeah.
I want that. Give me that. Wow, that's insanity.
But maybe they're just going to show 15 minutes with each team.
Right, but again, you could do that now. You don't have to wait till December.
I know what you're saying, but
But we kick off tonight at 8:40 Eastern, Ravens Chiefs. We had our fantasy draft last night in the league that Alex and I are in, and I would like to tell Yahoo to go pound sand. Last year, my draft was given a grade of an A by Yahoo, and I finished dead last in the league.
Really?
Yeah. This year, they gave me a D-, said I would only win 4 games. So from there, and apparently Yahoo is now using some kind of an AI to do this. So by that logic, I should win the league. But Alex had some people he knows that are actual analysts evaluate my team, and they gave me a B. So we're going to see how this goes. I do actually have a player tonight because I got Derrick Henry running tonight.
Nice.
So we're going to see how this goes. I believe I have him. I think I don't. I'm not gonna look just to remember because I thought I drafted. Because see, my problem is the way they did the draft this year. So I come in last place last year. The way they did the draft this year, I had the last pick in the first round.
Is it a snake draft where you went first?
I got last and first, which was good. Right. Yeah, I have Derrick Henry running tonight. So right now I have the 51% chance of winning this week. But everything's 50-50 in week 1 because nobody.
It's the NFL's 50. You just whoever comes out ready to play.
Yep. Let's get into Major League Baseball standings in the AL East.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. Because we have to play North America's favorite game show tonight. Here's an interesting stat for you. The entire AL East, none of them are on a winning streak right now. They have lost at least their last game. Toronto, currently 14 back. They're 3.5 back on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is only a game back on Boston because Boston's dropped 5 straight. Boston now 10 games back on the Yankees. The Yankees are only a half game back on Baltimore. In the AL Central, Chicago, put a pin in it. Let's talk about Detroit. Detroit now only 10 games out of first place. By the way, Toronto 7 games below 500, 14 back in the division. Now, I'm not saying they're out of it. There's a chance, but it's slim.
Yeah.
Detroit currently 10 games back. They are at 500. Put a pin in that. They are 5.5 games back on the Royals. The Royals now a half game back on Minnesota. Minnesota now 4 back on Cleveland. In the AL West, and that currently in that particular division in this cellar is They're 16.5 games back. They're 2 back on the Oakland ? They are 6.5 back on the Rangers. The Rangers now 3.5 back on Seattle. Seattle's now 4.5 back on Houston. In the National League, as I click the thing that takes me there. In the NL West, the Colorado Rockies, they're terrible. They're 38 games below 500. They are 33 back in the division. They are 18.5 back on San Francisco. The Giants are now 10 back on Arizona. Arizona's a game back on the Padres. Padres now 4.5 back on the Dodgers. And shout out to Shohei Ohtani having his dog throw out the first pitch. That was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that.
In the NL Central, Don, your Pirates are terrible.
I know. They always are after the
All-Star. Nine games below 500. And you're 15.5 back.
Yeah, in the first half of the season, they're always in the mix, and then the All-Star break, and then they every year.
Cincinnati's won 4 in a row. They're 3.5 back on the Cardinals. The Cardinals a game back on the Cubs. The Cubs now 9 back on Milwaukee. And in the only division that matters, the NL East, my Marlins are terrible. We're 31 games back. They're 10 back on the Nationals. 13.5 back on the Mets. The Mets have won 7 in a row, by the way. Mets are now a half game back of Atlanta. Atlanta now 7 back of Philly. Gentlemen, let's play a North America's favorite game show. What is the run differential for the Chicago White Sox?
What a shocker.
Because it ain't ending anytime soon. LA.
Can I go last?
Sure, if you like to.
Yeah, let me go after Don then. Let me go after Don.
Okay, you can't Price Right it though. Promise me that.
I promise, yeah.
All right, Don.
I'm going to say 275.
All right, LA.
Negative 275.
Negative 212.
Okay, so to give you some perspective, Alex sent me a couple of stats. Stat number 1. Where are you? Zach Greinke currently has a career slugging percentage of .336. He's not good. Right now, the White Sox as a team have a slugging percentage of .338. Currently, remember when I said Detroit was at 500?
Yeah.
Would that tell you that since they're in 4th place in the division, everybody else in the division above them would also be at least 500?
Uh-huh.
That is true.
Okay.
The Chicago White Sox currently are 32-109.
Yes.
That is 77 games below 500. What that tells you, if you do the math, is if they forfeited every game before the All-Star break,
Yeah.
they would still have to lose 16 more cents to be where they are now.
God.
That is a 227 win percentage in September.
That's bad business.
They are currently 48 and a half games back in the division.
That is bad business, sir.
They're 18 and 54 away. No, they're 18 and 54 at home. They're 14 and 55 in the road. They're 1 and 9 in their last 10. Now, the only other team in the American League that has a negative triple-digit run differential is La at minus 122.
It's who again?
I'm sorry. La.
Oh, okay.
In the National League, the Marlins are at a minus 188. LA, if we were talking about Colorado, you'd have been the closest. You both would have been over, but you'd have been the closest because they're at minus 217.
Damn.
Now, last week, the Chicago White Sox had a run differential of minus 282. Currently, on September the 5th, with about 4 weeks left in the season, the Chicago White Sox have a run differential of minus 303. They have broken 300, Don. 303, boys.
How many games back are they again?
They are 48 and a half game backs. Russ almost got there because Russ said minus 300.
I'll give it to him. Russ won. I'll give it to him.
Now, they beat our deadline. We thought they'd hit minus 300 by last weekend.
Right.
But they were close. But they have broken minus, which means they're threatening the record. Now, what did we say that the record was?
Hold on. Here we go. Let me check that out again.
White Sox have only won 32 more games than me. April.
Cheers.
In any of the other, two of the other three, because the NFL doesn't play that many games, 30 wins in this hockey or basketball, you're done.
Yeah.
That's not 500 anywhere.
No, you're out of there.
They're negative. I mean, they're how many? What's their
minus 303 currently, Don.
No. They're what's their record again?
32 and 109.
Okay, and they have how many games left? Then about 20.
They've got 22 games left, or 21. Okay. They're 160.
Yeah. So the big time was the one we talked about, Cleveland Spiders in 1899 that had 134 losses.
I'm talking differential.
Yeah, but that was because it was that starter team. And then It was Pittsburgh Alleghenies at 113. And then in the modern era, it was the, let's see. New York Mets at negative 120.
Losses. I'm talking run differential, Don.
No, I'm trying to talk about the most losses or whatever.
No, I'm asking for run differential.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Because the Mets will finish above 500, so I know Alex is happy about that.
This is complete insanity, though. This season is insane.
And I'm telling you, LA, this is the first time since we've played North America's favorite game show that a single team has gone wire to wire.
And that's why I said, do we have to? It's not been good.
That's exactly why we have to. Because like you said, this is insanity.
Yes.
Well, while Don's looking that up, let's get into some TV talk. And we have a new feature on the show, Al. Go ahead, Don.
The worst run differential is the 1932 Red Sox at negative 349.
Gee, that's.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, you're knocking on the door.
Are on a track for negative 361.
You are knocking on the door.
349 is the number that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, they're at 303.
Fair enough.
How many games to go?
21 games.
That's reason. That's reasonable, brother.
If you lose by 3 runs a game, this is happening. Oh man, we could be witnessing history, gentlemen.
We're witnessing Megan Thee Stallion on the Pepsi commercial right now.
All right, so the 32 Red Sox were negative 349. The 1915 Athletics were negative 344. The 2003 Athletics were negative 339. 2003 Tigers were negative 337.
We're going to witness history, boys. Just saying. All right, let's get into TV talk. In LA, we do have a new feature on the show that we'll do in TV and movies, and it's called Stuff We Watched This Week.
Boom.
The only thing I have for this week is a YouTube rabbit hole I am falling down, and it is called Jolly, Jolly, and it's named after the two hosts, Josh and Ollie.
I'm gonna make sure I get you some music for segues, by the way.
That would be awesome. Do it. I'm here for it. Okay. Jolly are these two guys from Britain, and they come to America and they try American food for the first time.
Oh.
So last year they did like a month just in Texas. So there's a video of them trying Whataburger for the first time, going to Buc-ee's for the first time. And these are guys that are used to British food.
Yeah.
So check out this channel. They've been around for about 10 years. They did one, LA. I swear to you, I was laughing so hard I was crying. They did the World Series of hot sauces. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. So what they did is they got like a bunch of the hottest hot sauces from around the world, and they tried to evaluate them. Now, one of them said they needed milk. They had to do rock, paper, scissors, and the guy that won could drink milk, but the guy that lost had to drink tequila.
Oh no!
Yes, sir. And they also have a sub of their channel where they have British high school students trying American food for the first time. So it's them drinking Mountain Dew for the first time and eating Wendy's for the first time. And
that's awesome.
It's brilliant. They went noodling a couple of weeks ago for the first time.
Yeah.
Soul food in Memphis and barbecue in Memphis.
Oh.
Those are when they were at the barbecue place. They had ribs and they pulled out silverware, and the owner came from around the car. No. Put the silverware. You got it. It's called Jolly. Check it out. I'm a big fan.
Okay. I like it.
TV guy that you guys watched this week that you want to talk about?
Now you want to go?
Yeah, we actually binged something on the Netflix, which came out, The Worst Ex Ever. It was pretty interesting to see these stories about how they had these horrible past relationships. It's like, my God.
Did they not get my audition tape? I didn't realize it was already done.
Unless you're that anonymous person that they had, That was pretty interesting on that. So, and of course, finishing up, I caught up on Hard Knocks except the last episode. So.
Yeah, I still have to finish Shogun. Okay. I got 4 more episodes. LA, anything you watched this week that you want to talk about?
I highly recommend that if you guys do not have Apple TV, you need to get it for this show alone, which I am surprised that this lead actor even moved the needle for me ever since, I would say, True Detectives, maybe even going back to Wedding Crashers and all that. But Vince Vaughn in Bad Monkey.
I have heard very good things about this.
Chef's Kiss.
All right.
You got to check it out. It's about Vince Vaughn is this detective. Of course, he's one of those guys that's problematic, and the force kind of has him wishy-washy whether he has a job or he's suspended or not. And he is just bumbling his way through this crime that's kind of like a I know I was going to freeze on the word. Conspiracy. There we go. It's a conspiracy of these set of crimes that are taking place, all for money, for the passing of this guy who faked his death. And so all the twists and turns that go into how that lines up into Vince Vaughn's life. And then I cannot think of the actor that's playing the actual owner of the monkey, but it's taking place in Miami, kind of near the Bahamas area.
All right.
And so it's awesome how they're intertwining those stories together. But Vince is classically doing a masterful job at this detective that's very smart ass, smarmy, and it's great. I love it.
Blaney's in this. Michelle Monaghan, Jodie Turner-Smith. All right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Alex Moffat, Crystal the monkey is listed as.
He should get an IMDb credit on this one.
That's something that it was released a little bit ago, just recently. The on Peacock, the Damian Priest story.
Oh yeah, the WWE 24. I'm going to be checking that one out too. I haven't.
You got a lot of respect for the guy after that.
Yeah, there's another documentary coming later this month that we'll talk about off air.
But, yeah.
Have you guys heard about the latest streaming service coming your way?
No.
Oh, yes.
So it is one akin to something like PureFlix, where it's family friendly, mostly faith based. And this is not a parody because it's from the company you think it is, Don. It's called Flick-Filet.
Yes.
No.
This is happening. This is not a joke. This is real. Flick-Filet. But here's my question. Will it be dark on Sundays?
That is a good question. And if you watch a show and they do it live and you watch it at the end of the show, will there be an opportunity for them randomly to select a viewer to receive a free Chick-fil-A sandwich?
I'm here for this. And I wonder if they ban people from saying you're welcome.
Of the evening.
Let us run these things. Let us run these things. But no, Flick-Filet is happening. Get ready for it. The Emmys are a week from Sunday. They will be hosted by Eugene and Dan Levy, two very, very funny gentlemen.
Speaking of that, hold on. I need a TV talk. Hey, AT&T and Disney, National Geo.
Yeah, that would be more of tech talk than anything else, I think.
Okay, I didn't know. Because you're talking TV.
They're not hooking up anytime soon, brother.
Yeah, well, are we going to talk later on it?
We can.
Later. Tech talk.
We have the national anthem about to happen, sung by Lift Every Voice is being sung by Tasha Cobbs Leonard.
Yes, I see her now.
Okay, I got my TV. I'm gonna try to get my TV here, but
I see Chelsea. Kelsey is still rocking the Western handlebar mustache too.
Did you see he and his brother have released a cereal mix?
No.
It's Lucky Charms,
Captain Crunch, and
it's Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and something else in one.
That's a lot. That's a lot, brother.
I saw a thing today that had a poll. What do you put in the bowl first, cereal or milk? And I'm like, it's always cereal. What?
It's always milk, right? Oh,
no. I'm a cereal.
Oh,
then the milk.
Cereal.
Oh, I thought it was the milk. Then
no, because then you're screwing up the geography. You're screwing up the physics.
No, I'm kidding. Yes, it is the cereal first. It always is.
It's a debate.
There's a question on the toilet paper. Do you have it out or under? Are you an outie?
Over. It's always over.
Always over.
It's never under.
By the way, Russ said he's watching a lot of the 1% Club that has Patton Oswalt and Lucky.
Yeah, I watch that too.
Fans of Pacific Rim, Legendary Entertainment is working on a prequel series. I enjoyed the first one very much.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Robots fight. I'm good with it.
Which one?
Pacific Rim.
They haven't said where it's going to be yet. Okay. And the Drew Barrymore show has been renewed through 2026. So you got that going for you. Gina Rodriguez will be joining, one of my favorites, will be joining season 3 of Will Trent on ABC. So there's that. Boys, we got to talk about Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, no.
Do we have to?
They have released the cast, and
one
member of this cast is very controversial.
Yes.
I'm going to bury the lead on that.
Okay.
So we have former New England Patriot Danny Amendola.
Yeah.
Because you have to have at least 2 athletes, right?
Got to.
We have Joey Graziadei from The Bachelor. Got nothing.
Okay.
Chandler Kinney, who was in Disney Zombies, and she was also in Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
We have Ilona Marr. She is an Olympian and a professional rugby player. She was featured in the Olympics. Brooks Nader, who is an SI swimsuit model. We have Steven Nedrocic. He was the guy in the Olympics that won the pommel horse that everybody was talking about in gymnastics. Mm-hmm. We have Phaedra Parks from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Peace up, A-Town down.
Why?
Eric Roberts, because Tori Spelling, Jen Tran, who was this season's Bachelorette. We have a Reginald VelJohnson sighting.
Yeah.
Family Matters checking in. One of the greatest all-time moments on that show was when James Avery showed up at the very, very end. But there's also, Don, if I say the name Anna Delvey, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah.
So there was a documentary about her and a movie.
You're missing one.
Oh, Dwight Howard. I'm sorry, Dwight Howard, because we had to have our second athlete.
Yeah.
She basically conned people into thinking she was an heiress, and there was a show called Inventing Anna about her.
Yep.
She will be on Dancing with the Stars, and people are losing their mind.
The one in England that had the Netflix show or whatever they're talking about?
That's what. Yeah.
Yep.
I doing Netflix or whatever.
I don't know. She served her time, though, I heard.
Okay.
So, LA mentioned Apple TV Plus a little while ago. They have renewed Dark Matter for season 2 and Acapulco for season 4.
Nice.
That's going back real quick. Dancing with Stars. What is that still on ABC? Show on ABC, or is that is it on the Plus?
Oh no, that's ratings bonanza for them.
Okay.
LA, you just lost your camera. There you are. CBS now, because everybody else is doing it, they're working on a third hour of CBS mornings for streaming and the local stations. I was out to lunch on Monday on the holiday, and it was like 12:30, and Good Morning America was still going. It's very strange. CNN, we talked a couple of weeks ago, they're going to have a new panel show called Have I Got News for You, hosted by the great Roy Wood Jr., who I'm a huge fan of. We've got a couple of the panelists that'll be joining that show, Amber Ruffin and Michael Ian Black. I don't know a lot about Amber Ruffin, but I really like Michael Ian Black, so I'm here for it. Comedy Central, we're catching up on a lot because we were doing all football the last 2 weeks. Comedy Central made a very interesting announcement, and I don't know how I feel about it. September 25th at 10 o'clock Eastern, they are debuting an animated version of Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm not sure how I feel yet either.
I never really got into the show, the UPN show, because I think it was still UPN back then.
The Everybody Hates Chris was actually a sleeper hit. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it was on for a while.
Yeah.
Also, we got some Disney Plus news for you. There will be no season 2 for The Acolyte, and I think that's been pretty well covered.
Yeah.
We're getting a new Vision series, which I'm very excited about, and James Spader's going to return to voice Ultron. And I thought,
good
job. And the new version of Wizards of Waverly Place, called Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, is going to kick off October 29th, and then it'll be on Disney Plus the next day. Fox announcing today that season 5 will be the last one for 911 Lone Star.
Good.
That's the one that's got Rob Lowe in.
We always liked the original Lone Star, but the 911, but not the Lone Star. It just didn't work.
No.
We have the unveiling and the representation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. I still contend that this game should be a rematch of the Super Bowl. Chad Henne checking in. 87-year-old Chad Henne. Let's see. HBO and HBO Max. I'm looking forward to this on Saturday. They're debuting a documentary. It's called Wise Guy, and it's about The Sopranos. Debuts on Saturday.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Very much looking forward to this.
Work again?
On HBO Max.
Okay.
Somebody Somewhere will be ending after season 3. We're finally going to get to Salem's Lot that we've been waiting on, that they filmed like 5,000 years ago. That's going to debut in October. And the Max side of it, City of God, The Fight Rages On, has been renewed for season 2. From a Hulu standpoint, we're about to start season 4 of Only Murders in the Building. That's a show I really need to get into, and I just haven't started yet.
Yeah, I hadn't took any time out either, and I hear nothing but good things.
And it's been renewed for season 5, even before season 4 starts.
Wow.
MTV has renewed RuPaul's Drag Race for season 17 and the All-Stars for season 10.
Why?
It's got an audience.
Yeah, you know what? It has its demo. Let me not hate.
And I'm a big RuPaul fan. I think she's hilarious because there is zero given. You know what I mean?
I really wish,
all about her.
I really wish she would get into like acting or some type of show, like instead of just doing these. Because I mean, camera, she works well.
She's living her best life.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nat Geo has canceled Wicked Tuna after 13 seasons. That was a reality show about people who fish, like professional.
For the first couple seasons.
Oh, Alex is checking in, so I see him. I see you, brother. NBC Peacock has added some cast members to another show I need to catch up on. Season 2 of Poker Face.
Yes.
It's going to add Cynthia Erivo to the cast, as well as Margot Martindale and BJ Novak.
Yes, awesome.
Let's see. A lot of Netflix news to talk about. They've canceled Buying Beverly Hills after 2 seasons and Dead Boy Detectives after 1 season. That is getting a lot of traction online. People are forming petitions to get that show back. Millie Bobby Brown?
What's it called? Dead Boy what?
Dead Boy Detectives. Millie Bobby Brown has written a novel called 19 Steps. It's a YA novel. And Netflix has given it to her for a movie. So, when you're part of the biggest franchise they have on that network, being Stranger Things, you can kind of gives you some leverage. The Mr. McMahon documentary will be 6 one-hour episodes starting September 25th. And I'm hearing tidbits every day, and I'm like, oh dear.
And they got everybody you would think who's a star of the WWE in their interview.
It's going to be a thing.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
And you know what, Rob? That's the reason why they were being so mute on it every time they got pounded with the questions after every PLE. It was always the song.
September 20th.
Netflix. Yeah, on Netflix.
Okay.
And they were always, tiptoeing around saying, oh, well, we've just been too busy putting on a show for you guys. Yeah, okay.
And people, I'm like, everything I'm hearing it's just like, this is the more and more wheels off this thing is getting. Russ is saying that Rob Lowe's got the 2nd season of The Floor in a couple of weeks. That's a fun show. And Wheel of Fortune with Ryan Seacrest starts next week because
that's going to be interesting.
More work. Netflix is actually developing a sequel series to One Tree Hill from back in the day.
Yeah, I heard.
Mia Bush and Hillary Burton will be returning. And I meant to ask my wife about this before the show went on. My wife was a big fan of the Twilight books back in the day. And there was another one that Stephanie Myers wrote called Midnight Sun. Alex is saying that the interview started before the lawsuit and ended after. So it's going to be pretty comprehensive. But there was a last book called Midnight Sun, and Netflix wants to do that as an animated series. They've greenlit that. So I'll have to see what my wife's thoughts are on that. Paramount Plus news. We talked about your Yellowstone sequel series. The other ones have been prequels. This is a sequel series called The Madison, and Matthew Fox from Party of Five will be joining the cast of that. And something that was a surprise hit for them, Lioness, the female-led spy series. Season 2 starts October 27th.
Nice.
So get ready for that. Prime Video has canceled My Lady Jane after one season. A lot of hype going in, and then it just kind of died out on that. October 8th. Okay, here's another thing. Let me go this, and then we'll come back. What did you guys think of Reacher?
I actually love Reacher.
Because you're allegedly getting a spinoff series announced today. The rumor is that it will be focused on Frances Neagley, played by Maria Sten.
Huh?
That's what I read today.
Why?
Because money?
Okay. Yeah.
Another thing that they're going to be debuting next month on October 18th, we are going to get to see the Australian version of The Office. Alex says he'll put in a call. This will be starring Felicity Ward as the boss of the Finley Craddock Packaging Company. And basically what the concept of this series is it's after the pandemic and they're trying to get people to return to the office. And so she's having to do stuff to get her people back. But then I found out, did you know there have been 13 different versions of The Office around the world?
Really?
Yeah, that's what it said in the press release.
God, wow.
Coco Jones singing the national anthem for us tonight. Yeah, 13 different versions of The Office around the world. I would be interested to sample some of those because, you know, it came the British version and then the American version, but apparently there's a ton of different versions of it.
Right.
Oh, and we talked a few weeks ago about Scare Tactics is coming back. If you guys remember that show on USA for 4th, and I think Jordan Peele is executive producing.
Yeah.
TNT Librarians: The Next Chapter actually kind of goes home because the CW. There's no the. It's CW got rid of it, and now TNT's picked it up. So I think I think that's a sequel series. That's where the original Librarians were, if I'm not mistaken. TV on DVD and Blu-ray this week. Walking Dead, the Ones Who Live, season 1, because there's 97 spinoffs from that show out there right now. Season 2 of Fire Country. My wife enjoyed season 1. I don't know how she felt about season 2. The Knuckles series from Paramount Plus will be available on Tuesday. Seasons 1 through 7 of Rick and Morty and the complete collection of Super Friends. That I'm actually interested in because that's going to be
What do you think about the anime version of Rick and Morty?
I'm not a Rick and Morty guy. That's Alex's thing.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into movies and stuff we watched this week. Movie edition. The only movie I watched this week, we're going to talk about new releases. Gentlemen? Don says the same thing. Any movies you watched this week, Ellie, you want to talk about?
What did I watch? It wasn't memorable. I'm trying to think on Netflix. I watched something. No, it wasn't a movie. So no.
Okay. Congratulations to Inside Out 2. It's become the first animated film to hit $1 billion internationally, and it's made over $600 million domestic.
Jeez.
I haven't seen it yet, and I really, really want to. I'm going to wait for it on the Plus. Long Legs, the Nicolas Cage horror film, has crossed $100 million. That makes it the highest grossing indie film of the year. This is a horror film, so I'm out. But I've heard people enjoy horror films. Think I've said very good things. We have more casting for the new Superman movie. Sean Gunn, who you might know from Gilmore Girls and from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he's going to be playing Maxwell Lord, who was who played him? It was Wonder Woman 84. He was the bad guy, same character,
right?
And I don't know how I feel about this next story. I normally, Rob Riggle apparently beating the big bass drum at Arrowhead. Don and I differ when it comes to our philosophies on reboots and things of that nature. They don't necessarily bother me. Don, on the whole, Don, can I be honest and say not a fan?
Overall.
Do we need a reimagining of Anaconda?
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not with it.
They already did a second Anaconda. They already had like the second movie.
The only thing that intrigues me is who's behind it. Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
But I would feel like you'd have to make it like an old school B movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I've seen Mix-a-Lot in a cameo. Something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Nicki Minaj did a song called Anaconda?
Yes.
Look at me knowing things.
Alarm that you do know that.
I'm hip. I'm with it. We have a title for the new Jurassic World film. It's called Jurassic World Rebirth. The Scarlett Johansson is in this, and it takes place
football season. We had our first football play of the season. Yes, it's officially football season.
It takes place 5 years after Dominion. It's got to be better than the last 4 of those things.
It's not gonna be. There's no way.
Dominion wasn't terrible. It just wasn't good. And I just, dinosaurs equal money. Not going to deny that.
That first Jurassic Park was such a classic. It's one of those things where
times opening weekend in the theater in '93.
It's one thing to make something that's good, but it's another that if it's in that movie, you transcended everybody's career who was in that movie. They all branched out to have a successful film career because of that one movie.
And you changed the game from a visual effects standpoint too.
Yeah.
Both practical and CGI.
Absolutely.
But like I said, dinosaurs equal money.
All day.
We're getting a movie of The Mandalorian and Grogu to wrap up The Mandalorian. And Don Sigourney Weaver is joining the cast of that film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of Don's favorites, as you can see behind him.
Yep. Oh, imagine that.
How many of the movies are represented on the wall behind you right now?
I could have had more, but
I see the first one. I see is it the first 3? And is that Resurrection on the end?
Oh, God, no, that's Covenant on the end.
Oh, okay.
And I got the 2 aliens.
Oh, so it's 2 for the second one.
Yeah.
So you don't have 3 up there?
Then I have the original alien.
The original, yeah. The original. Okay.
Yeah, so those are the original. All 3 are original. The alien and the 2 aliens. So
Barry Keoghan has joined the cast of the Peaky Blinders movie. So Alex will be very happy about that because that's one of his favorites. And a big announcement today for the latest attempt at a live action Masters of the Universe film with Alison Brie being cast as Evelyn, and I am here for it. Love her. So I'm excited about that. Movie new releases and places you get movie new releases this week. We have something called The Front Room, and I don't know how I feel about this. Ellie, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so. Let me look it up too.
Have you heard of? I'll get to it. Don,
Okay.
have you heard of this movie, The Front Room?
never heard of it.
It tells the story of, and this is from the MDib. It tells the story of a newly pregnant couple who are forced to take in an ailing, estranged stepmother. Now, let me see. There's one person I know you both will know that is in this cast, but let me look and see if there's anyone else I recognize. And it does not appear that I do. This cast is led by someone who once thought a boy was hers, whose brother is the reason we have the Kardashians. Brandy Norwood leads this cast.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was the name of that movie, but yes.
I mean, it's a creepy movie, so I'm out. And And it's A24, so it's going to be super creepy.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to make money. Because it's definitely counter-programming from your big release this week. Also this week, something called The Thicket. I have to pronunciate that. West Texas, a boy who, after his sister is kidnapped by a violent killer only known as Cutthroat Bill, enlists a fierce bounty hunter named Reginald Jones, who becomes the leader of a group of outcasts searching for the stolen girl. This is a Western. Peter Dinklage is in this. Juliette Lewis is in this. We have another Levon Hawk. Didn't know there was another Hawk out there. Arliss Howard. Gabenga. I can never say his last name. Akina Gate. Akinnagbe. I know his name and I can never say it right, and I apologize. Leslie Grace is in this. James Hetfield from Metallica is in this. That's okay. So there's that. Also,
I want to go back. It took me a while to find this.
Okay.
The versions of The Office, besides the UK and the United States, Sweden, Saudi Arabia, Poland, Israel, India, Greece, Germany, France, Finland, Czech Republic, Chile, and Canada. There was also a Russian version of 24 episodes in 2008, but never produced.
Okay.
There you go.
Also this week, a movie called Continue. This is a foreign film. A depressed girl attempts suicide, gets admitted to a mental institution voluntarily. She finds friends, love, and a new outlook on life, but learns some choices are irreversible. Sounds kind of like Girl Interrupted a little bit. Also this week, a documentary called Lover of Men, The Untold History of Abraham Lincoln. You can draw your own conclusions there. Also, a documentary called The Cowboy and the Queen about Queen Elizabeth II. And she was very, very, her horse trainer, she was very into horses. About her and her horse trainer, Monty Roberts. And then your big release this week, Don and I saw on Tuesday night. Beetlejuice hits the tomorrow. This should have been 3 movies.
Really?
There's so much going on, and I put this in my written review, and I don't have the buttons working right at www.theclubhousepodcast.com.
It's our website.
I did the ding earlier. Sorry.
There's so much going on in this film. There are at least 2 people that are major names in this film that if you pulled them out of it, nothing changes.
Michael, so I saw a report that Michael Keaton wanted to keep his on-camera time as Beetlejuice the same amount of time as it was in the first one. He said he only had on-camera time as Beetlejuice. I think it was like 14 minutes out of that whole first movie. So
he's not in it a ton.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. That's what he said he wanted. He wanted to keep it, aligned with the original.
I mean, he's great because he's Michael Keaton, and the guy gets a pass with me because he's Batman. It's just like there's a lot of fan service in it. True fans of the first film will enjoy it. And I said this in my review, you could have taken all of the different stories that were all going on at the same time, and you could have made this a trilogy and run the same thread through all 3 and been fine.
I won't lie.
It's a lot for an hour 45. It's a lot.
I kind of like the animated series better.
There are nods to the animated series in it too, I'm told. So
I like that better. So
I mean, it's a thing. It'll make a ton of money. Now, if they release this a month from now, it makes $1 bazillion because you're right in scary season. But we're 2 weeks away from fall, so there's that. Movies on DVD and Blu-ray this week. We have the Kevin Costner Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1. Chapter 2 will not get a theatrical release. Netflix is talking about picking it up. Late Night with the Devil, which we talked about on the show about a month ago, that is apparently really, really good. A foreign film called Kill that I'm interested in. It's kind of it's like a martial arts kind of a thing, and kind of like Bullet Train a little bit. There's an 85th anniversary 10 film animated collection from the Batman animated stuff that I won't buy because I already got everything anyway. And the Criterion collection releases all of Us Strangers. A couple of quick tech talk items. Don, you wanted to talk a little bit about AT&T?
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. Disney has like ABC and stuff like that. And I guess the contract went out between Disney and AT&T / DirecTV.
Last week, I believe.
It kicked off on Sunday.
Yep.
So Sunday it went off. And so if you have Uverse 2, we're under that umbrella.
Yep.
And so now anything National Geo, ESPN, and I haven't even figured out what else is gone, is out. Now it's kind of weird. The ABC local station is still on because like that was under Tenet. You know what I'm saying? But so they've been out, and there are a lot of football fans who ain't happy right now because of the ESPN with the college and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean it's why I have YouTube TV, because I'm good.
Me too.
So I don't know. Are they really?
I love that Don still has Uverse because, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We loved when we had Uverse. It just got too expensive for us, and I love YouTube TV. Love it, love it, love it.
Now the question is there going to be a close deal on that?
I haven't heard anything new. Touchdown Baltimore. Who got it? Derrick Henry. Yay! He's on my fantasy team. I do have one quick note. A couple of weeks ago, I have gone back to Apple TV. I've taken the Roku out of my living room. It's actually right there now, because now I can watch the games in here while we're on the air, or the game, because it's Thursday night. When I got my Apple TV, I got the 4K version that's got the hardwire in it, so it's one less wireless signal running around my house. For a week, the colors weren't right. I couldn't get the color balance right, and it was angering me. Alex mentioned something in passing about it, saying, yeah, they really like the 4K, and my TV in the living room is not a 4K TV. So that kind of bounced around in my head for a few days, and I went into the settings because I saw something on what they call HDR versus SDR, which is a high dynamic range and a standard dynamic range, which that TV doesn't have either one. It does 1080p, but it doesn't do 4K. So I went in, and this helps anybody that might have this problem down the road. I went into my settings on the Apple TV, and it was set to 1080p HDR. So I changed it to 1080p SDR, and it works like a champ. It was trying to read a signal my TV couldn't get. So get into your settings, into your video settings. What I really love about it too is I've set my screensaver to go through all the pictures in my phone that I've favorited. So that's the slideshow on my TV. And I dig that a lot. So, and I love Apple TV. I've always been a fan. It's got a lot of apps that my Xbox doesn't. So like when we get screeners at the end of the year, a lot of those apps are not available on the Microsoft Store. So but they're available on the Apple TV. Bob and Tom is not available. I have to get that on the Apple TV or the Roku. There's a bunch of them. So I'm very happy. And it turns everything on and turns everything off. So it's one button and we're good. So, and Tuesday is allegedly the day we find out about the new iOS and the new phones. Russ wanted us to mention James Darren, who passed away last week. He was in the original Gidget movies. He was on TJ Hooker. He was a recording artist. Yes, thank you, Russ. All right. Are we ready to get into the other half of this show, gentlemen?
Yes, we are.
Let me get the thing ready to go and go. It is the Cheat Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling, and we haven't talked wrestling in 3 weeks, so let's dive right in. We do want to send our best to the family of one Sid Vicious, who passed away last week. Guy was a legend. I was watching live that night of the pay-per-view, and it will be forever blazoned in my brain when his leg broke. And but he was, by all accounts, he was a great guy to a lot of people. And he lost his battle with cancer last week. So we want to send our best to his friends and fans. LA, you had your hand up.
Nash said that he spent so much time in the gym with him, which really bonds him. And he used to be like, you had enough in the gym, you're done for the day. He goes, no, you never had enough time in the gym. And that's what Sid Vicious will always say to Nash, no, you don't never had enough time.
Yeah, that guy, I mean, just a beast.
Yeah.
Greatest perm in wrestling history.
I'll give you that.
Emergence happened last Friday night. You have a new X Division champ in Zach Rentz. Moose is going to get the title shot at Victory Road next Friday at Victory. I already said that. And then at the end, did you guys see what happened at the end of Emergence?
No.
Dolph Ziggler wins the Iron Man match against Josh Alexander. And JBL walks out.
Yeah.
Gets in the ring, whispers in Dolph Ziggler's ear. I'm sorry, not Dolph. It's Nick Nemeth now. Whispers in his ear and walks away. Because JBL apparently is just showing up everywhere now. So I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. For those of you that are TNA insiders on YouTube, that is no longer a thing. They are moving everything over to TNA Plus, which I will say both the Ring of Honor and TNA apps are 20 times better on Apple TV than they are on Roku. Go ahead.
I was going to just talk about the JBL thing. When Dolph lost the belt, was it that because of JBL?
They don't recognize that history. It's a different company.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
There is crossover, but they're not worried about that history.
Well, but you know how the TNA and WWE have this kind of relationship right now?
Oh, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah. Do you think that they will let Dolph go back to Dolph, or would he want to go back to Dolph?
Because he said he has no desire to defend that belt in NXT.
Yeah.
But if he does, he'll be Nick Nemeth. Because if you remember when Dana Brooke showed up, they didn't know what to call her for like 10 seconds, and then they called her Ash by Elegance.
Which I liked. I like that.
Yeah. Has been released from TNA, but she is also part of that Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling that Scott D'Amore is doing.
So Moose is just going to continue to get title shots until TNA is no longer in business.
Probably.
I have never in the history of this show been so wrong about a guy. Because you remember back in the day, I was like, why has the company not signed this guy? And hindsight being what it is, TNA is where he needs to be.
Captain Hindsight, that is. But go ahead.
TNA is also bringing back Final Resolution.
Okay.
In Atlanta on December 13th. Tickets, I believe, they're either on sale or they go on sale this weekend.
Chiefs going.
And we talked about, did you see that two of your broadcast team for Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling have been announced?
Okay.
Don Callis.
Nice.
And Mr. Mamma Mia himself, Ronaldo, will be at the desk for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So I don't know when it starts up or what the schedule is going to be. If they've got broadcast rights, I have not heard yet. But a lot of the TNA talent will be working with Scott D'Amore on that. And there goes a touchdown. It's a heck of a...
I just said that.
You're ahead of me. Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Let's see. From a WWE standpoint, Asuka has re-upped for a multi-year deal. So there was
really?
for a while. What did you boys think about Bash in Berlin?
Okay. It might be unpopular. I love and I hate the fans dictating the energy there overseas.
It's a whole different, it's a vibe though.
I love it because I love that they're in tune to the matches, which I hate how here stateside we kind of phone it in when we decide to. But the ongoing chance of their own thing that has to ultimately do with soccer or football.
But do you think they feel the same way when they watch our programming?
No, we chant stuff that has to do with wrestling, overrated and all that stuff.
That chant didn't start in wrestling.
Okay.
It started New York Yankees.
Okay, but they're actually chanting soccer stuff outside of the whole Cody Rhodes, that part.
Right. But you've also got when they're chanting random people's names when they're bored with the matches. When they're chanting Michael Cole, I dig it because it's something different. The energy in that building was through the roof. Of course, most of it was in German, so I didn't know what they were saying. I wish they would tell us, but it was fun. I don't know because apparently the plan going forward is less matches per plea. Because there were only 5 matches on that card.
Right.
I don't
know. AEW, which gives you a big multi thing, and there's lots of wrestling and none of that bunch of trash between matches.
But it wasn't about the trash between matches, Don. They were longer matches.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If you watch WWE, please, versus AEW, it's one match to the next for AEW. Between matches on WWE, there's backstage, all this crap. Sorry, all this junk that they don't need just to fill time,
But AEW is starting to do a lot of that too. I mean, Dynamite is a.
I'm talking about on a pay-per-view though. It's
they do most of their storytelling in their non-pay-per-view shows.
And that's what I like about it.
But they go 4.5 hours, Don.
But you're getting wrestling out of it.
Right. But also tired head by the end of it.
And also with that, WWE's good at pace matches. They know how to pace very well to give the audience a break in between one high, intensity match to the next, where I feel AEW has not mastered that yet. So when their last match, their main event comes up, the fans are tired.
And I will be at Dave & Buster's in Frisco Saturday night for All Out.
And we'll be exhausted for that because I feel like the main event for that one is going to be Swerve and Adam.
And put a pin in that because I want to get to that when we get to AEW.
But I just feel like that. I don't feel like they're going to pace it well. I think they're going to have a huge spot match before that, and we're going to be exhausted.
I'll say this if I can, because I'd let LA talk on this one. The crowd in Europe, they love it. They get into it, and I'll tell you the crowd energy I heard when I was at Wembley a year ago. That's why it was one of the best pay-per-view shows I've ever been to.
But is it because? Do you think that in America we're more spoiled because we have more opportunity to see it live? And for them, it's like once or twice a year max.
Absolutely.
And that's the one thing when they come to America, like the Raw after Mania, the older days before it was such a long weekend, it was mostly visitors. And that's why it's such a rowdy show is rolls off. And
but
these people are like,
the point. These are people
that's what I love
get a couple of opportunities
crowds, is that they're like, we're not going to be, told what to do. We're not mindless. We're going to have fun with this. But the energy, they love it out there, just like they do in football. And that's why in any football game, they're going nuts out there because they enjoy the sport. They enjoy the entertainment, and they like to have fun in a camaraderie. That's why I love it so much. And, in 2 years from now, we're talking all in again.
Yeah.
Why not?
I love it. I want to compare it. I want to compare All Out to is it All Out Texas or All In Texas?
All In is going to be in Texas.
Okay. All right. I want to compare All Out to All In Texas, and I want to see how that goes. I'm interested in that.
Hold on. I think All In's it's going to be All In Texas. Hold on.
That's what we just said, Don.
Okay.
Yeah. All in is in Texas, forbidden doors overseas.
Okay. Yeah.
A couple of notes I had from the plea. We have new women's tag champs, but nobody's going to address the foot under the ropes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Also,
AEW did it.
So did TNA. Did you guys notice anything about the music that was used in the McIntyre Punk vignette video package?
No.
I am 99% sure that's EY's theme.
Okay.
It's a remix of an old Johnny Cash song. Because I was talking about it.
Scatter shooting while wondering where EY is.
He's working. He's producing for TNA.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Graves and Cole going to SmackDown, and we had Tessator and Barrett. I feel like I say this every time we bring somebody new to the table, but Tessator's going to take some time. There was no energy.
The setup. I think that he doesn't know when to give an exciting setup versus giving a regular setup. Like how Cole is a master at that. When it's time to give the exciting setup, Cole will give the exciting one. But Tessator is like, and there's your world champion. Like,
Well, and I like where they have that camera just on Cole, and they'll just like in a break, in a plea, they'll show just clips of Cole reacting to things. Right. I love that because as much as you hate Pat McAfee is the reason Cole is the reason he is who he is right now. And Cole has said that. He said that publicly. He goes, if it wasn't for McAfee, I'd be retired. But the energy he brings to the table, he goes, it's just infectious, and it's gotten me back into the.
It's a just all right, obnoxious.
And shout out to Sheamus for picking Georgia Tech. We're getting a legacy belt. There's an IC legacy belt for Gunther out there. It's pretty sharp.
Okay.
And Bad Blood is actually going to start at 6 Eastern.
Really?
Because UFC 307 is the same night.
And
since it's in Atlanta, you can do 6 o'clock and not have, and it's a Saturday. So it's 3 o'clock West Coast, but it's Saturday.
And there's nothing on the Bad Blood card that I've seen that's really going to raise any stakes.
I'm sure that's going to pick up next week because, next week is WWE week because that's the week that SmackDown moves to USA. So all shows are going to be on USA next week. I think that's when you're going to get we're going to be off to the races. You're going to get a lot of Bad Blood set up next week.
And I think that the biggest thing out of Bad Blood is going to be Punk McIntyre
again.
And I think, and you know what? I'm seeing that AEW is watching WWE and WWE is watching AEW because I feel like Punk McIntyre is nothing but Swerve and Adam. I feel like it's the same thing.
Did you see this thing with the governor in Pennsylvania this past week? Talking about all the great things that Pennsylvania and Philly are going to have. And he said, we're going to have WrestleMania 52. And his office went, no, we don't have that planned yet. So it's like, let's back down, Philly. Let's back it down.
Isn't it just like Philly to think that they're all that?
I'm just interested to see what those teams are going to wear tomorrow night since neither one of them can wear green. SmackDown. Tomorrow night's the final episode on Fox. We talked about that. I do want to talk a couple of weeks ago when we had the Grayson Waller effect and he was streaming on his phone. And the whole time in the background, Austin Theory was just posing.
Yeah.
I was giggling like a child. It's subtle and I'm here for it. Like, I enjoyed that very much. Raw is going to air from Saudi on November 4th. They're actually going to do Raw over there as they lead up to the November plea over there. Congratulations to Angel Garza. He and his wife are expecting. Oh, we just lost Don. And I don't know how I feel about the name Pure Fusion Collective. They really like that last word.
Yeah,
There's Don.
I feel like they can do something with their initials better than they could do with, because I don't. What is PFC? What is that?
I just say it as like private first class from the military. It's just, it doesn't roll off the tongue well.
No.
And then we've got the other one from NXT, this Fatal Influence. Can we just give JC Jane a solo run?
You know what? While we're talking about this, isn't it time for WWE to have a trios belt?
I've been wanting a 6-man for a long time.
Because you got all these
secondary women's title on the main roster, like you have in North American Women's Championship,
right?
And I want a 6-man
because you have all these factions that are sets of threes, and they're just factions
or more.
Yeah, and they're just factions,
and then they just wind up just floating out there in the middle of nowhere. Like, what are we doing with the Final Testament?
Right. What is the point?
What are we really doing with the Judgment Day? You know, like, but I agree.
And I feel that when the draft came and they moved Final Testament to Raw, it had no chance against what they were doing for the Judgment Day.
Right. And the LWO's there too, and nobody remembers that.
They should have kept the Final Testament on SmackDown, and if you weren't going to do anything as far as giving those guys gold, you should have had that faction go against the LWO.
Well, the only faction you've got on SmackDown right now is the Bloodline.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You took all the factions and put them on Raw.
Controls on Raw.
Right.
But no, I agree with you 100%.
Just call Raw faction.
Any thoughts from No Mercy on Sunday? Got new tag champs. You had the Ridge Holland heel turn. I think that might have been a little early, but I mean, I'll roll with it for now.
I mean, you knew that was coming from the over 4-month setup.
Yeah, but I just don't know that the timing was right, because as much as I enjoy Ridge Holland, the only thing I see happening right now is them teaming him back up with Pete Dunne.
That's what I'm saying. I think that would work anyway. That's better.
And they both go after Sheamus because they'll blame Sheamus for getting buried and changing Pete Dunne's name.
And what's the guy that Pete Dunne tags with from back in the day? What was his?
Tyler Bate.
Yeah, and then bring Tyler back, and then just make them a faction on NXT.
I'm here for it. And we have the debut of Julia. See where that goes. She is going to vie for the women's title at the first episode on CW next month when they're in Chicago with the CM Punk. They've announced Halloween Havoc will be October 27th on the road. It'll be in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I will be in Pennsylvania the week before that.
Oh,
hey, sorry, is Hershey from Pittsburgh? Don.
Just checking something on the city thing that we had.
How far is Pittsburgh from Hershey?
A couple hours, probably going from like here to because it's a little bit traffic and it's not like a straight line. I'd probably say something like maybe going between here and Austin, maybe.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't go anyway because I'll be back home by that point. And Jordan Grace has an open challenge for her title this coming Tuesday. She put up a mysterious tweet that she was ready to play the game.
So does Jordan still have the TNA?
Yeah. She's putting the Knockouts title on the line on NXT as an open challenge on Tuesday.
And then Joe Hendry is, since he lost to Ethan, then he said any show. So he thinks he's going to have the audacity to show up on Raw, SmackDown?
I still think if you do this right, I would have had Hendry win that title. Stay with me. He takes it back to Impact. And what do we always have at Bound for Glory? The call your match.
Yeah.
So you have somebody like Ethan Page insert himself in that match. He cashes in, gets the NXT title back, and then takes it back to NXT.
Okay.
Let's have some fun with this. Let's move around.
We're already crossing over. We might as well.
I saw Phil checked in. Good to see you, brother. Let's talk some AEW. We're going to run a little bit late tonight. We talked about Forbidden Door being in London next year. Battle of the Belts 12 is set for October 17th in Stockton. There's rumors that they're going to tape it with Collision because we'll be in the MLB playoffs at that point.
Okay.
Some of that will be on TNT, TBS. Where Grand Slam is going to be in Australia next year on February the 15th at Suncorp Stadium.
What city is that in?
Australia.
What month is that in? Let me check something here.
It's in Milton, Queensland, Australia.
Okay.
Holds 52,500 people.
It
is
Are they going to sell out, or are most of the black tarps going to have most of the seats?
It's nicknamed the Cauldron. I dig that.
Yeah.
It is the home of the Brisbane Broncos, the Australian national rugby team.
Okay.
It's also historically called Lang Park. 3-tiered rectangular. Opened in 1914. They just did a $280 million redevelopment of it. It's a grass surface, which that doesn't matter to wrestling. The record attendance, Ed Sheeran has it with 59,185. So that's almost every seat there because, it's what? 100 and 500 and 615 away from every seat in that stadium, which means they probably just had something covered behind him. That's around. But that's where it's going to be. And then, as Don mentioned earlier, All In 2026 will be back in London. I was thinking about something the other day as I was watching Rampage. And yes, I watch Rampage. I'm sorry. Surprised that both Takeshita and Okada are both heels.
Yeah.
Last night on Dynamite, Kyle Fletcher and Okada, I could watch that all day. Those dudes put on a clinic last night.
Well, you do know Takeshita is now turning face.
They're teasing it, but they're teasing that with everybody in the Don Callis family, right?
Yeah, but I think what's odd is that they're teasing everybody to turn face in the Don Callis family, and I think that they're going to phase Don Callis out.
Oh, if he's going to go do the Maple Leaf thing,
Yeah, I think they're probably going to break up the family and just say we're going to go our own way.
I love him at the desk. I've always
okay.
At the desk.
Help me out with the BCC. What's going on with that? Like Moxley is just doing something else?
I think what's going to happen is one of two things is going to happen. Either Pac is going to join the BCC or he joins Moxley. Because I kind of want House of Black, but that's a whole different issue. Because I don't know what we're doing with John Moxley. I think Marina Shafir is amazing, and I'm glad she's getting her flowers because she's one of the most underrated athletes in the business right now, in my opinion. And just letting her just destroy things, I am fully here for. But what we're doing with Moxley right now, I mean,
what was that thing about the like him calling out Tony Schiavone and
he told Tony it's not his company anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What was that all about?
And then he's looking for Darby Allin for the second week in a row.
Yeah, it feels like a slow burn, but it's also only been 2 weeks.
So when do you think? Do you think they should have done Ricochet versus Ospreay for that title or bring
Not
it back in?
Not yet.
I think you're going to eventually get Ospreay and Ricochet. That will be a killer match.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but not yet.
Yeah, no.
Not yet.
No,
Skinner,
they're gonna
show with Freebird. Like you've got.
They're gonna milk this Ricochet cow for all it's worth.
I'm surprised he kept the Ricochet name, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Now, do you think because when Ricochet debuted, do you think that he should have won that gauntlet match or whatever?
I would have been okay with it, but I'm also okay with him not getting it. Like, I'm okay with them saying, okay, we're gonna bring you out, but like we can't strap a rocket to you right off the bat.
Because he didn't lose, he just didn't win.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay if he did, but I'm also okay that he didn't.
Yeah.
What I hope is that he doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, please.
I think that's exactly why they're doing Ricochet the way they're doing him, because I believe that when he probably spoke with AEW and he said, look at my track record with WWE. I've given them 5-star matches. I've given them viral spots, and they've given me nothing. I don't want to go somewhere else.
A couple U.S. championships, maybe a tag, but he never got. I've been saying for years he should have won Money in the Bank a couple of years ago, and then he could have got that new thing like with Danielson, how he was mid, then he won Money in the Bank, goes to that next level. That money.
Speaking of things like that, by the way, you can tell Faith that her favorite player just missed a touchdown pass. Yeah. What I would love to see, I want him to go after that diamond ring. Be the person to beat MJF for that diamond ring.
I'm game with that. I can do that.
The reason why is because I don't want that, because I don't want MJF's cloud covering over Ricochet, because you know how they do with MJF. Whoever he beefs with, whether he wins or loses, he still catapults above them. And then once they're done beefing with MJF, they're forgotten about. Like this is what they're going to do with Danny Garcia.
But that's what I'm saying. That's part of the problem is he wins the end of the angle. You let, and this could be part of the whole deconstruction of MJF, because if you noticed after he lost the match at All In, the Burberry was all black.
Yeah.
As if he's sitting Shiva for the title, which.
But you know what? He had black Burberry when he turned heel. When he actually went back to heel. Right,
but then he was all red, white, and blue.
Right. Yeah,
and he's lost the title. Now he's basically in mourning for the title, which don't even.
Oh no, he renounced. No, remember he renounced his American citizenship.
Still, like it could have been anything else. Like I think that's the story you're telling, is that he's mourning the loss of his title. But you get somebody like Ricochet comes in, gets the ring, that furthers the deconstruction of MJF as his world is falling apart around him.
Yeah.
That elevates, because a loss for MJF doesn't do anything bad, doesn't do anything adversely. But you put that ring on Ricochet, that elevates him to that next level. And you can use that as a tool for him for, I don't care if it's the TNT title. I'm not going to put the world title on him yet. I might put him in the international title picture. Got no issue with that. Or even the continental title, which I still think somebody should hold both of them and call it the Intercontinental Champion just to make H's brain melt. But a guy like Ricochet, I agree 100%. It's got to be a slow burn. You have to build it, because you don't. AEW's not, for the most part, is not the kind of company that's just going to put a rocket ship on you and you're going to go to the moon.
No.
But there's also been more than one occasion where the burn has gone too long.
Yeah, I don't think I like the Daniel Bryan winning the title thing. If we're going to talk about this, because
other way though, because he wants to go through the end of the year. Because where's World's End?
Yeah,
it's in Spokane. It's in Swerve's hometown. That match was not going to go any other way, and I've done some research on this. The reason Daniel Bryan has not been world champion, he didn't want it.
Oh no, yeah.
It's like Sting with the tag belt. Sting didn't want the tag belts.
No.
But the Bucks were like, no. You need to go out on time. And as much as the Bucks as characters drive me insane, and that means they're doing their job, as humans, no issue.
Exactly.
Because, you did my boy right.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt my feelings. Daniel Bryan saying, I don't want to be world champion. He's one of those guys that transcends the belt.
Right.
But in an era where we're finishing stories, there was no way that match was going to go any other way. It was a fantastic match, and that's two of the best in the industry right now in him and Swerve. Because Swerve's on it. Swerve.
I saw him lose.
On a complete
if he would have lost that and that been his final match, I could see it. It wouldn't have hurt me any.
I understand. It was in my mind. There was no other outcome to that match. There just wasn't.
For me, I was surprised. I thought that was going to be his final hurrah. That's just my personal.
Knowing that World's End is in his backyard and it's the final pay-per-view of the year.
So do you think they'll have Swerve and Danielson for the rematch at World's End, both in their home area of Seattle?
I think that's how it goes.
Because they're both Seattle guys.
Right. And I think that there's a pseudo, because you're definitely pushing Swerve back face again after last night.
I don't.
In what I have the most telegraphed endings to a show I've ever seen. Out on that final segment was rough.
I have a problem with the angle with Swerve and Hangman at this stage, because it's obviously set up for Swerve to win the rubber match, but I don't want that because Hangman's been on a losing streak ever since he became this new Hangman, and it's affecting his credibility as this heel. I'm not buying the heel.
I agree with you. I think that I don't know that they know what they want to do with him, because putting him back with the Elite is a step backwards.
And it was just a one night thing, which I appreciate.
He was always a background player in the Elite, which when he joined them back in the TNA days and then going to New Japan, that made sense, because before he was Hangman Adam Page, I didn't care. Like, he was a guy. Working with Bullet Club made him into the guy he is now. The problem that exists is, outside of Swerve, who do you feud him with?
Yeah, but and why does he have to lose to Swerve when Swerve started this? Swerve made this personal first. So I feel like the poetic end to this is that Swerve loses again. I think that's the only fair way. And you don't knock Swerve because the whole first black AEW World Champion thing, that still resonates. There's no steam off of that boat.
Mike, I see you. Welcome, brother. I think that's going to be, that cage match is going to be insanity.
Yeah.
These are two guys that are not afraid of any spot ever.
No.
And to me, I want this to be old school cage. Only way you win is to escape the cage. I'm just not a fan of a pinfall or a submission in a cage match, because that's the point of the cage match, is to escape.
Yeah.
And I know they did it back in the day too, but to me, the brilliance of a steel cage is you've got to get out of there and get away from that other guy.
You know what I would want?
It keeps other people out.
Right. But I don't like pinfalls or submissions in cages. I never have. Go ahead, Eli.
Hey, you know what I want? I want them both to land at the same time, trying to knock each other off. I want this feud to not have
Orndorff Hogan Saturday night's main event 1980.
I don't want a winner to this feud. I want them to always, over time, come right back to each other, like how they did like how the feud is now. I like how Hangman went off for a while, and he came back and said, "Swerve, I told you it's still on between you and me." I love that type of ongoing, never-ending feud. I love it.
Would you see that Wrestle Dream is your next pay-per-view? After All Out, Schmaz ending it, Do you do a 3-way dance with Brian at Wrestle Dream or Full Gear? Because it's got to be one-on-one at World's End. It just does, in my opinion.
So what you're saying is if it goes my way, let's say, for example, that they both don't win, neither one wins or lose, but they're both number one contenders.
You know what it is? Your Wrestle Dream match is going to be last man standing.
It would just be those two?
Yes, that's what all of this is building to.
Okay.
It's about who blinks. And what better way to end an angle about who blinks than last man standing?
Yeah. Or the proverbial I quit, which I hate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the I quit match. Never have been. But you let these two and let them book it. Say, here's how much time you've got, because they're both great minds for the business. Here's how much time you have. Go do last man standing.
Yeah. And you know what? Let them talk about okay, I would say this. Book it to where Swerve comes out Dynamite after neither one of them win. Swerve comes out and says, I'm back to get my title. Hangman comes out and said, once again, you didn't beat me. And then Daniel Bryan is going to be the guest referee for the last man standing match.
Hold on. We may have just... Okay, I completely had all this backwards. Wrestle Dream is in Tacoma.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
World's End is in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that kind of throws a wrench in everything too, because you can't.
Then he goes out at Wrestle Dream.
No, actually, we already know who Daniel Bryan's facing at Wrestle Dream, because it's going to be Jack Perry.
That's true.
You don't see him losing to him, do you?
No.
But you still could do. You could still do last man standing at Wrestle Dream with the two of them.
I think they'll save that. They want that to be a true. I think they will want that to be a true AEW PLE.
Oh no, it's going to be a straight up pay-per-view. They don't do please.
Well, yeah, I would think that they're going to do a straight up AEW PPV. They're not going to do like in association with. I don't think they do that.
Well, and also you think about the fact that you've got a pay-per-view in between there because you've got Full Gear.
Right. Yeah. Either way it goes, they're going to let Swerve win or whatever. I don't like it.
Surprised if this angle went to World's End, I would not.
It has to, I feel like it should. I don't think the cage match should be the end.
I don't think the cage match will be, because when you do what you did last night on Dynamite and you set a man's house on fire, you don't end that angle 3 days later, because there's retribution that has to come from that.
Yeah.
They kind of reeled me in a little bit when they showed he kind of broke character and said my best friend and hugged him. I was like, oh. And then I saw Hangman and I went, oh dear, this is about to go really, really badly.
And you know what? They set us all up with the feel good.
I saw a post on Facebook last night of somebody going, oh, how great is this? And I'm like, this post did not age well. But I will say that of production value as that segment had, that shot of Hangman sitting in that chair.
Yes.
Like, good night.
But you know what? Hey, it evened it out finally, because again, Swerve started this.
Well, and I think that's also the brilliance of the storytelling.
Yeah.
Paige has become so obsessed with this that it's gone from you started this to I'm going to finish it, which
and then did
healed him that much further. And Swerve's just kind of standing there like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, Swerve now has to understand the monster he has created.
He did.
And he did. Going to do to counteract that. This, I completely agree with you. Saturday night is not the end of this. It can't be.
I'm going to say this. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say it. As good as I like the promoing of Punk and McIntyre's feud, I think that Hangman and Swerve's feud, it's probably number 4 of all time on my list. Under the Austin Rock, Chris Benoit, and we can't say it. Can we say it?
Have done it in less time.
Yes.
And have done it in less time. That's the thing. They've been able to get this feud to that level.
Yeah.
I mean, when did this start? I mean, it hasn't even been a year.
No, it's probably been about 5 months, maybe.
And you probably could take 3 months of that out with Heyman just being gone.
Yeah, he was gone. He was hurt or whatever it was. Yeah.
Like,
because remember, they were feuded. They were at the top of they were just getting this feud bubbling when Joe had the belt.
I'm waiting for Joe to come back.
He's filming though. He's filming season 2 of Twisted Metal.
A lot of the IWC gives so much grief to AEW. This is a prime example where it's like, if you don't understand the brilliance of this, to reevaluate your fandom, because whether you're a fan or not, this is good storytelling.
This is great.
Because it's so much anything you can do, I can do better. That when they put him on that Tron, I was just like, oh dear.
Dude, this trumps, no pun intended, this trumps McIntyre and Punk, man. This grudge match feud, this is better than that stupid bracelet thing.
But the advantage that feud has is those matches have all been bangers.
Yes.
And it's been so long since the two of them faced off in a ring that they're gonna have to steal the card, which they can. There's no doubt in my mind that they can.
Yeah.
But whereas the storytelling with Swerve and Hangman is stronger, those 3 matches in the last 3 months, especially that strap match, was out of control in the best.
3 matches or 2?
Because they've had 3, right? Because you had Clash at the Castle.
No, that was Punk came out. He was the ref. He came out to be the ref of the
Yeah, so it's SummerSlam, so it's been 2. So SummerSlam and this one.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it again. Because all Bad Blood, and what more Bad Blood do you have than those 2 right now?
And I'm talking about McIntyre knocked the shoe off Punk, and I was here for it.
All right, boys. Just one more quick note. Sidney Akeem is now on the Ring of Honor roster. The guy used to be Reggie. And they're still, like tonight's episode, which is 2 hours and 8 minutes long, still the Arlington footage. Unreal.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the plugs because we have definitely run over time. Make sure that you over there by LA is our QR code. Make sure you scan that if you're on the video version so you can check out all of our social medias and stuff. If you're on the audio version, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music, our website is www.theclubhousepodcast.com. Find out everything you need to know and some stuff you don't. Make sure you are following Sunset Lounge DFW because in another 3 weeks, we're going to be exclusively there. It's a Patreon page, $5 a month, and you're going to have access to all of their podcasts.
That's it.
Dallas Radio Legends. There's more coming. Make sure you're following them on social media. We'll have some more stuff coming down the road, but they're going to have all of season 15 on that Patreon page. So look for Sunset Lounge DFW. Also, I am following them on Twitter and on Facebook. I need to check and see if the Instagram's up yet. But some great content. Really looking forward to that. You got another 3 weeks. Get on it now. You can follow me on your social medias if you like. Everything is Yes That Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN. Alex might be back next week. Should be back in 2 weeks. He is Vexploit on all of your social medias. And do not forget about our store at ProWrestlingTees.com. Submit some designs because we'd love to have some new designs. LA, go.
Oh, it is LA runs Dallas, all formats, all the time. And MMTG Clothing. That stands for Making Moves, Thanking God, because we blessed to get you dressed. So MMTG Clothing and also MMTGclothing.com.
3X that fits me, LA.
I'm sorry.
He's one of the
3X that fits me.
3X to fit him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Easy work. Light work.
So that you are able to get those awesome shirts that make me look good, along with the MMTG, which makes me look good. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/the Cheap Podcast. At Twitter, I'm Attic Voodoo. IGVNUU. And what this madness your place? Email me, Don'sClubhousePodcast.com.
Email Don for information on how we can come do a live show. We love doing live remote shows and hanging out with the Empire. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we're morally obligated to say that. Next week, we will be back at our normal time stills at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. So until next time, for Don, for LA, for Alex, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed.
Bye.
Hi, Brittany Palmer.
Bye.